My name is Gina Spriggs, and I am a witch. So while bats seem like they might be popular for Halloween, energetically they symbolize transformation and they symbolize evolution, just like snakes do. A lot of people have historically associated the word witch with something negative. I think that real witches are teachers, healers, lovers of all people. Now here they are, shopping in my store, right? Trying to woo back their man, get a job, or come up with any other concoction that will help them. And that's what we do here. We help people, right? And we help people help themselves. But when you say something like, I'm a witch, they're like, oh, well, that's a negative thing, and I'm not about that. And I'm like, well, you just bought all this stuff, and guess what? You're a witch too. This one has hoodoo, return and reconciliation, and sex magic, relationship magic. It's like a melting pot magic. We basically are honoring magical traditions around the world. Once you understand universal laws and how energy works, magic actually makes a lot of sense. The ancestors represent those nameless, faceless ancestors that you don't know. You might know about your grandfather, your great-grandfather, but you might not know about, what tribe you're from or whatever. So our African masks, for us anyway, they represent those nameless, faceless ancestors. When we look at the word witch and feel that there is a negative association with it, it's because of what has happened historically to strong, powerful, intelligent women who were ostracized from practicing their natural craft, whether they were healers, herbalists, midwives, or just medicine women. A lot of people that don't know anything about spirituality, they gravitate towards the crystals because they're shiny. They're shiny, they're pretty, they're colorful. So it's a beautiful place to start. There is certainly an overarching energy that is God, and I believe in God. People often come in here and ask me if I believe in God. I'm like, of course I believe in God. But I also know that God is not the only energy or entity that can support us in this life. When I was working, when we finally secured the space, right? And we realized that this is exactly where we wanted to be. We could feel the energy of this place. So as I was working in the store, getting it prepared for it to be a store, because it was an office before, I felt that the store had this very, very masculine presence. And I actually posted on Instagram what I thought he would look like. And it was a very strong-looking, dark African guy. And in my mind, he was tall, he was dark, he had very sharp features, and he was definitely African. And I basically even posted, I'm like, this is the energy of our store. Fast forward, we opened the store. And we had some ladies from Rosedale Plantation, which is just a mile or so down the street, come to the store, and they asked if we would participate in an event that they had. My daughter and I said, sure. Then they invited us to go to Rosedale Plantation, and we went. They're showing us around, the ghosts are talking to us. It was crazy. Then we found out that there was a guy that was on the plantation, and his name was Elbert. Elbert was, he was a slave, but his history was African, and he was property of the Rosedale people. And he used to look out for the women there. They showed me there. The thing is, to this day, this ghost is very, very visceral, and sometimes there are pictures that people can take of him. There are pictures of him in Rosedale Plantation. He looks exactly like I thought the energy here was. And so I was like, this is really interesting, because I feel like there is this energy. And actually, if you'll notice, I don't know if you notice, that there's an energy sometimes that will follow you up the stairs, and you might even look behind you to see. That's him. And so I basically said, well, wait a minute. So tell me about Albert, and they told me about him. Turns out that Rosedale Plantation extended to this area. And so Albert is, he looks out for the women. We could feel his presence in certain places, and we definitely feel his presence here.
His name is Elbert, spelled with an E, Elbert Shands. He was a caretaker here at Rosedale during the early and mid part of the 1900s, and he was a Gullah, one of the members of the Low Country of South Carolina. He was also known as the Conjure Man and was very well versed in herbal lore and knowledge, and people would come from miles around to ask him questions. He was highly respected here in the community. We have seen him here at Rosedale. In fact, I myself saw him very clearly one day standing right under this oak tree. I was here doing a site check during the pandemic lockdown and glanced over at the tree here and saw very clearly an elderly black gentleman standing with faded denim coveralls, a faded flannel shirt, and a straw hat. And when I glanced back, he was gone. If you'll notice, the back door here at this house. This back door leads into the Great Hall. And in the Great Hall, in addition to having parties and family gatherings, they also held wakes and funerals in the house. Many of the family members that died had their funerals in that very room. And the back door was made wider to accommodate a coffin being taken in and out. Now, I've actually gotten permission tonight to allow you all down into the cellar. So this is the first time we've had a group in our cellar since the pandemic started. Now, in the course of his work as a doctor, Dr. Caldwell one day brought back a disease from a patient he had been treating. He brought back a disease called erysipelas. Back in 1845, Charlotte then, as now, was suffering from an epidemic. And erysipelas was basically a much more severe form of strep throat. He did not die from it, but Mrs. Caldwell and 3 of the children caught it, and all 4 died within a year of each other.
Enjoyed the experience, enjoyed the tour, learning all about it. Had my own experience of hearing a crying child in the cellar.
Since 1998, I have lived 15 minutes from this place and had no idea it existed until I'm also part of the Charlotte Area Paranormal Society. When we started partnering with them to do the grounds investigation is when I first heard about this place. And again, 15 minutes away, I had no idea it was here. Definitely one of Charlotte's best kept secrets.